For some, a sense of justice not served. Vince Gerasole picks up that part of the story. Vince.
Rob, for some who were in the courtroom today, these verdicts solidify a system of lies and corruption. For others, it's vindication for law enforcement. Here now are thoughts from both sides.
The verdict says to police officers that you can lie, cheat, steal, rape, rob, and pillage, and it's okay.
The emotional thoughts of Laquan McDonald's great uncle, Marvin Hunter, immediately after the verdicts were announced. Critics watching the case had been saying the judge should have recused herself because of her previous working relationships with several of the defendants. Top of mind for the critics, the dash cam video showing Officer Jason Van Dyke shooting Laquan McDonald 16 times. But the judge said that wasn't the totality of the evidence, that the officers' information in their reports contradicting that was based on their different vantage points, a conclusion welcomed by the Fraternal Order of Police.
Her courage should be an inspire to other judges in high-profile cases. These three officers spent their careers serving the citizens of the city of Chicago. For that, we have seen their names dragged through the mud.
Community activists now vow to protest at the Van Dyke sentencing tomorrow.
We know that what happened here today, this miscarriage of justice, will definitely have implications tomorrow.
To say that these men are not guilty is to say that Jason Van Dyke is not guilty.
Now, we should say when the defendants left the courthouse today, they were pretty stoic and straight-faced as they walked to their cars. We should also say that there were over 24 officers here to keep the peace in case there were any protests. There were no protests here tonight, but tomorrow, peaceful protests are expected for the sentencing of Officer Jason Van Dyke. Reporting live from the Layton Criminal Courthouse, I'm Vince Gerasole, CBS 2 News.
Okay, Vince, thank you.
The not guilty verdict comes as no surprise to our legal expert. I talked with Irv Miller about the ruling.
I would have been shocked if these officers would have been found guilty of any of these charges.
Why is that?
Because there just was not the evidence. When I read the indictment months ago, and I couldn't believe that this indictment was issued to charge these three officers with crimes that, in my opinion, weren't crimes. Just wasn't there. And when I heard the trial, I was even more convinced that this was going to be a not guilty.
Do you think that the burden, the standard for finding an officer guilty of lying on the stand is so high that it's more likely that they will get off?
You know what, I will be the first one to admit that I think there's a double standard between a civilian testifying in a courtroom and a police officer testifying in a courtroom. I think all of us put police officers on a pedestal, and if they say something, boy, it must be true. Unfortunately, I've learned over the years that that's not always true, because there's cases every day in this county where police officers testify and people are found not guilty because the judge just doesn't believe the police officer's testimony and finds that defendant not guilty. And I'm not saying all police officers are good or all police officers are bad. I'm just saying we're all human, and they're all human as well.
Stay with CBS 2. You can read more about today's decision on our website, cbschicago.com, and we'll have more reaction on our news at 10.